This is the Tigers Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Detroit Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Is baseball not just the best game in the entire world? Baseball is fun. The Tigers may never lose again. Welcome into a live Locked On Tigers postcast. I am your host, Jake Riepma, and this is the Locked On Tigers postcast. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake_Riepma and bring out the brooms. The Tigers have swept, yes, the worst team in baseball and the worst team perhaps in the modern era, the 6-30, whatever they are, Colorado Rockies. But hey, the Tigers are playing some great baseball, and we are going to talk about it. It was a doubleheader sweep, and bigger than that, it was a fantastic road trip that spanned 3 different time zones, and the Tigers finish it 7-3, and now back to the friendly home cooking of Comerica Park. I'll have my player of the game, turning point, all that good stuff, and more as we recap a doubleheader sweep and a series sweep over the Colorado Rockies. So buckle up, and as always, thanks so much for making us your post-game destination, free and available wherever you get your podcast, and of course on YouTube, all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team each and every day. Shout out to the real ones that tune into Locked On Tigers with my main man, Scott Bentley, as well as the post-game show. That's how it works around here. You get the deep dive with Scott Bentley on Locked On Tigers. You get the post-game reaction with me, Jake Riepma. And when you've got a team as fun as the Tigers, it's all a winning proposition, because don't look now, but the Detroit Tigers are an impressive after a 10-2 victory and an 11-1 victory, 25-13. And you know what? We might do things a little bit differently on the postcast today. And it begins with getting right into our Talking About segment.
This is what you'll be talking about.
It's the brand of baseball these Detroit Tigers are playing. And now, yes, you're beating up on a junior varsity squad in the Colorado Rockies, but it's not our fault. They were on the schedule, which I did. This is mean. I'm not being mean-spirited, but I listened just for entertainment's sake, and it's no disrespect to Benetti and Andy Dirks. I love Jason Benetti and Andy Dirks. They do a tremendous job. I love FanDuel Sports Detroit and Daniela Bruce for that matter as well. Always entertaining. But I was just curious, what do you talk about when your team is 6-100 like the Colorado Rockies are? And I tuned in for a little bit to the Colorado Rockies telecast. They were talking about the new hockey coach for the Anaheim Ducks, Joel Quenneville, who coached for the Colorado Avalanche for a little bit, also coached in Chicago for a little bit. So that's what you have to talk about. You talk about the Anaheim Ducks new hockey coach when you're losing as bad as the Rockies were. And it sounds like I'm throwing salt in the wound. I'm really not. I'm just finding a different angle to look at an absolute can of whoop what that the Tigers opened up today. And really, I don't want to say the whole series, because obviously yesterday went to extra innings and it was a close game all the way throughout. But man, these Motor City Cats are not messing around. 25-13. Look out. And they're And there we go. We do it live, baby. We love when the internet just completely blocks out on you. You know what? I'm going to say my internet provider is the same provider as the Colorado Rockies. That was a Colorado Rockies internet type performance. You just lose complete hope. There's no chance of ever succeeding. That's what my internet just did. And my sincerest apologies. Somebody let me know in the chat that we are still rolling. I'm getting the good signals now, but man, we went out there for a little bit because Charter Spectrum just decided to pull a Colorado Rockies. So as I was saying, I don't know what the last thing I said was that you heard, because we do it live, and that's the beauty of live. Can you dust yourself up off the map, stand up, and fight off what your internet might be not providing? So here we go. Cater Montero was fantastic, 8 innings of work, and he gets his first win of the season. You talk about solid starting pitching, jumping on the opposition offensively, and this is a team that is just clicking on all cylinders. So great stuff there. And here we go. Let's go ahead and get into these comments, because what I was getting to is I want to make this post-game show, this postcast, even more interactive than ever before. Because, listen, I can tell you everybody that got a hit, I mean, the entire team did, is a hit parade. It was 2 lopsided victories. It was like when the junior varsity tries to scrimmage the varsity, and there's just, I mean, what are we talking about here, right? The Detroit Tigers dominated and had a hell of a road trip, 7-3, and now get to continue to build on this momentum for a weekend series against a Texas Rangers team that, make no mistake about it, is struggling. They can't score any runs. They can't hit with runners in scoring position. They lost again against the Boston Red Sox, and they hired Brett Boone as their new hitting coach, hoping to insert some magic there, and it worked the first game. They won the first game of the series against the Red Sox, but have lost the last 2. But that being said, let's get into all of the comments, because this is a blast. I'm having a blast. The Detroit Tigers are almost said a bad word. The Detroit Tigers are a very, very good baseball team, and there's nothing better than having a good baseball team. You can't even argue with that. Rufus T. Cat, sweep up old dusty Denver. There you go. My man fishing with shredders. Montero, player of the game. Great job getting called up and going 8 innings. I love it. Yeah, because sometimes I would imagine, I mean, I've never been pitching when my team is up 100-0 like Montero was today, but it could be difficult to remain focused and continuing to pound the zone like he did. So yeah, you absolutely got to give him a lot of credit going 8 innings. All right. DT Lions brings out the brooms. You love that. Maya Lackman says more than a point in inning this series. There you go. The offense was alive and well, getting a lot of those points. You love that. Points, baby. Montero and Mize with fantastic performances in this series. Job gets a pat on the ass and a better luck next time. Yeah, it's actually a wild stat that I heard on the broadcast that Job's 3 2/3 was the first time a Tigers starter this year, the entire year. So 30 whatever games hadn't gone at least 4 innings. So you talk about working in hand with your bullpen. When your starters are able to give you those kind of innings, it saves your bullpen. Jason Walter says baseball is fun. I would agree with him. There's no doubt about that. All right. Demetrius McNeil says, Jake, just 3 short years ago, the Tigers were the worst offense in franchise history, and now their offense is way too good. Next series, please. That's right. Bring on the Texas Rangers. The dude says Tigers first in run differential in all of Major League Baseball. RIP Chet Lemon, you will be missed. Yes, I'm glad the comments pointed that out. It was on my list to get to, but may Chet Lemon rest in peace after passing away. All right, here's Johnny 2.0 says, yes. Braylon Dennis says straight belt to ass all day long. I agree. Now we got to be careful that we don't get too excited, because again, it's the lowly Colorado Rockies, but here we are. All right. Matt Wood says quite a game of statue, and here we go. Heavy Metal Music says tuned in, thought I was having a stroke. That might have been when my internet was having a stroke, so we worked through that. We're live, we're good now. All right, I appreciate everybody letting me know. All right, Dale says look at the averages ups and down the lineup. Let's go. How about that? All right. That being said, I want to get to our player of the game. I want to get to our turning point, and I want to pose a question during this break. So be thinking of this. What is, and I think it's fine. I mean, it's May 8th. And again, we're not going to keep breaking down the beating that the Tigers just put on the Rockies. We know what happened in the game. You watch it, just 2 lopsided victories. But be thinking of this during the break. What is the ceiling for this Detroit Tigers team? Are you all in? I don't know what else you have to see to be, though. That's what we're going to discuss next on a live Locked On Tigers postcast. This episode of the Locked On Tigers postcast is brought to you by Supply House. Get the supplies you need from the site that's made for the skilled trades, Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website, well, is packed with helpful resources and the latest product information to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need, and it's delivered fast from coast to coast, from Denver to Detroit. The Rockies are going to need some help with Supply House, and if you need help with an order, don't worry. Supply House offers support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for trade pros, hey, maybe you're looking for that extra edge. Well, guess what? The free Trade Master program, did I mention free, offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage, and now it's your turn. So join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM. That's supplyhouse.com/TM, and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order at supplyhouse.com. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Hey, the NBA playoffs are in full swing. Let's work on that. The NBA playoffs are in full swing. Baseball's in full swing. The NBA playoffs are in full court press mode, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action, and FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game. But before tip-off and after, that's right, with player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays. Another day, another parlay. Fans now have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. Which players are showing up in the biggest moments, and how could tracking their trends help you build your next bet? Well, what if it would look like you could combine live preps with mid-game based on how the action unfolds, and there you have it. And if you're new to FanDuel, it's a perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. So you got to make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. This episode of the Locked On Tigers postcast is also brought to you by our friends over at Wonderful Pistachios. Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Well, crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. I love that sentence. It's so easy to say. To help keep you feeling fuller longer. I love the no shells variety. It's the perfect grab and go snack for busy days. So whether I'm snacking at my desk, maybe I'm on a road trip headed to the ballpark, or I just need a quick protein boost, they're always my go-to. And if you love cracking open every shell for that satisfying crunch, then the shell-in options are a classic favorite. So get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. That's wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. Good Lord, if you're still here after that, my goodness, I know we got to keep the lights on, but here we are. All right, Tigers sweep the doubleheader over the Rockies, and they are a season best 12 games over 500 at 25-13. Best record in the American League, and continue to put forth a product that is both wonderfully entertaining and, dare I say, nice and gritty. Absolutely. All right. Now, we've got a couple of interesting ways to look at the portion of where we are in the season. We can all agree that this is the best case scenario of the start that the Tigers have put forth. We can all agree that this team is embodying a championship level team in terms of the division and getting to the postseason and making some noise. Now, what has to happen to continue this pace? Well, the starting pitching has to continue to play well. The offense has to continue doing what they're doing, but really you're seeing a team that's thriving on all cylinders. And again, you have you're coming off a road trip in which, sure, the Rockies are abysmal and you lost 2-3 to the Astros, but I don't think there's anything wrong with looking at this team as a legitimate AL Central contender, and beyond that, making a run in the postseason. It's been a long time since we've had those realistic conversations, but make no mistake about it, it's the best rotation in baseball, second best ERA, but I think you'd stack up the Tigers starting rotation and bullpen as an overall pitching staff against just about everybody in the American League, and certainly all of baseball for that matter, while we're at it. And offensively, yes, you've got some guys that have pleasantly surprised and some guys that are overachieving, but bottle this up. Keep it going, and let's continue this pace because, man, is it really fun. All right, a couple of comments to get into. Johnny Walker, you talk too much. Well, thank you, Johnny. I'm hosting a talk show, a podcast. I don't know what it would sound like if I wasn't. Maybe that wasn't directed to me. I don't know. I don't have a producer on the comments. I'm just going to work through these comments here. All right. Braylon Dennis says, my ceiling ALCS winners. Okay. I like it. If we can get that far, let's just go take the whole thing. Absolutely. Alex Smith says, Dodgers are so far ahead of everybody else. There you go. Alex Smith, Houston and Texas are still good. No, not as good as you might think. The Rangers especially are all of a sudden struggling after their hot start. And you mentioned Houston and Texas, and I mean, now I just pulled up the standings to make sure, but the American League West, the Astros are in third, the Rangers are in fourth. You've got the Mariners and Athletics. Yes, I said that right. The Athletics ahead of both the Astros and Rangers. So if we're talking about legitimate contenders in the American League, of course, you've got the Yankees atop of the East, the Red Sox right there. Yankees are 21-16, Red Sox 20-19. And then the top of the Central, which everybody always makes fun of the Central. It's the easy punching bag. Let's get after the Central, the comedy Central. But no, Jeff Passan and everybody else that were making fun of the Tigers and everybody else in the Central at the beginning portion of the season, it's the best division in the American League. You've got the Tigers at 25-13, the Guardians just 2.5 back at 22-15, the Royals right there at 23-16. So all three of those teams, aside from the two in the East with the Yankees and the Red Sox, but there's more depth in the American League Central as of right now. So that being said, I think we have a realistic conversation to be had. Okay. That being said, I always appreciate everybody tuning in, especially over the course of a road trip that covered the Central Time Zone, the Pacific Time Zone out in Anaheim or wherever the Angels are from, Los Angeles, Orange County, whatever it may be, and then Mountain Time in Colorado. So it's always fun when your team is winning. The Tigers go 7-3. Cater Montero goes 8 innings today, gets his first win of the season. Casey Mize in game number 1 gets his 6th win of the season, and the boys are buzzing. That's all there is to it. The boys are buzzing, and you got to love that because make no mistake about it, this is a team that has a very, very high ceiling, and I would say probably the best manager in baseball in what AJ Hinch has done, and cohesively as a unit, as a system, they are connecting and thriving in all facets of the game. Big weekend series against the Texas Rangers, who I mentioned are struggling. They are combined 0-for-16 with runners in scoring position in their last 2 games. Let's see if the Tigers can take advantage of that. You got Tarek Skubal on the mound on Friday. You got Tarek Skubal bobblehead day on Saturday. If you're going out to Comerica Park, make sure you let me know. And you know what? While we're talking bobbleheads, I want to give a nice little shout out to my grandmother who was at Comerica Park for Kerry Carpenter bobblehead. You will soon see the Kerry Carpenter bobblehead on display behind me. Oh, other one. There it is. This is tough. You know, you don't know which hand's going to show up where. It's a little reversed here. So if you're watching on YouTube, that's why. So we'll try and get this Kerry Carpenter bobblehead up on display. And you know what? That goes for everybody watching. If you want to send me a bobblehead, let me know in the direct messages. I will gladly accept them. I will gladly give you a shout out, and I will gladly put them on display. This is like a John Gruden video where we're just going to start opening boxes. Hopefully I have a little bit better success than him. Oh yeah, this is cool. This is really cool. I don't know what this sounds like on the mic, but you got Kerry Carpenter right there. Go Tigers, baby. Go Kerry Carpenter. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on a live Locked On Tigers postcast.